Hello everyone, this is Ashish Saini from Innovate Yourself. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am back again with a very interesting topic with Rasa chatbot, in which I will show you how to connect Duckling with Rasa chatbot. And now you must be thinking like, what is this Duckling and why it is required in Rasa chatbot? So don't worry, I will answer each of your questions one by one, and also we will learn about this Duckling in details in this complete session, right? So this is just a single session in which you will learn everything about this Duckling, and you will get a lot of things to learn in this case, right? So let's get started and let's see how to do that part. So before starting with the Duckling, I would like to take one example, or let's say I would like to take one of my previous chatbot in which I have already shown you how to take the input from the user, or let's say how to collect the data from the user, and accordingly how to store that value into the database. And I think I have already shown you this part in one of my previous session in which I was actually collecting the data and storing it into the MySQL database, right? So this is what exactly we have done, and that is the same bot which I am using right now. But in this scenario I want to make the modifications. But what modifications I want to make? For that I just want to show you how exactly it is working for now, right? Okay, so you can see this is how exactly the bot is working right now, right? So right now whatever values the bot has asked me, I have just provided everything and it has just collected everything. So here you can see it is showing you as well, like the first name is Ashish and the last name is Saini, and similarly the feedback is amazing session. So this is how exactly the bot is working, and right now it is asking you for the confirmation that whether you want to say yes or no. If you will say yes, then it will just save the data into the database. If you say no, it will just say thanks for everything and all, right? So it will just simply display that message, right? So this is how exactly it is working. And right now what exactly I am doing in this bot is I'm just using the forms. So here in the stories also you can see I am using the form part, with respect to which I am just calling the slots which I am requesting over here, right? So which is the first name, last name, feedback. So this is all about that, and actually this is the part of your forms, right? So if you don't know about these forms and how to connect them into the Rasa chatbot, then you can prefer to one of my previous video in which I have already shown you how to use the forms exactly with the Rasa chatbot, right? So this is what we have already done. Now let's come to the Duckling part, which we want to do in this part, right? So what exactly Duckling is? Duckling is simply, let's say it is just a form of a technique by which you can just collect the data from a text and you can convert it into the structured data. Or let's say let me just show you here also, just scroll it up. So you can see when I have written my name is Ashish, what exactly it is doing, it is just taking that value as the input and it is just defining that this is the intent, and the name of intent is first name, and also it is just collecting the entities, right? So this is all about which we have to collect, and also with respect to that it is showing you the value for that entity. So the same thing we have to do using the Duckling, but in that case we don't only have to pick the entities for those part which we have already defined in the NLU part, because right now you can see the first name is this one, and in here I have already mentioned that this is the entity. So with respect to that, it is just collecting the data and it is treating it as an entity. But right now let's take an example. We are having some of the values, and those values are like time, number, amount of money, ordinal, and so many things. So these are a kind of a things which are like these are the fixed kind of a values, and you know what can be the values in that case, right? So for that type of a values we are having this Duckling, and that will extract the values in the form of an entities, and for them you don't have to define the entities because they will automatically predict the names, and that names will be defined under this configuration file. So in short, you have to set up a pipeline for Duckling, and with respect to that, whatever values you are specifying in here, it will be able to extract the values for that, right? So let's say I'm going to say tomorrow I want to go to park, right? So in that case, tomorrow is what? Tomorrow is a type of a date, or let's say a time, so which will definitely give you the value as per the date, time, second, hours, everything, right? So this is the way how you're going to get the values, and that value will be extracted with respect to this duckling, right? So this is all about the duckling, and now it's time to understand that how exactly we can connect it to the Rasa chatbot, because when this part with this duckling will be connected to your Rasa chatbot, your Rasa chatbot will become more intelligent. You don't have to enter the entities part, you can directly use the part defined by the duckling, so you don't have to specify anything, so it will automatically pick those values, and we will be able to collect them and store them into the slots which we want to create, right? So this will make our bot more intelligent and more faster, right? So this is the way how we can do that part. So for that I have to specify, I have to add the configuration in the pipeline, right? So I have to add the pipeline for that, and the pipeline which I have to add for the duckling is this. So I have to copy and paste this one, right? So just paste this up, right? So for now, duckling HTTP extractor is the name for the duckling, which with respect to which we want to collect the values, we want to extract the values for the entities, right? And what values it is going to extract. So these are the values which I have specified over here: time, number, amount of money, distance, right? So right now what I want to do is I want to use the time and number in this case, but I don't want to use these two values, so I can remove them, right? So with respect to that, it will be able to collect the time, and time will be in the form of a timestamp, right? So you will get it in that way, and also the number, because I want to ask for the fees. So let me just exactly give you the clear clarification about the task which we want to do. Right now what I have done, I have made a very small conversation between the bot and the user. There I was asking, or let's say my bot was asking the user for the first name, last name, and the feedback, right? So why the user is going to give you the feedback? Because maybe that user have already taken some course from you, or let's say I am the instructor and I train the student. So in that case, student has paid me some amount, so I can collect that value as well. Student may have joined any of the batch, and that batch may have started on some different date, right? So this is how we can collect the date and number, and with respect to which I will be able to specify that, yeah, this is the time, this is the number. And in that case, if I have to specify any entity, so will it be easy for you to specify everything inside the NLU file? Definitely no, right? So that is the reason we are not going to type, or let's say we are not going to specify any entity in that part. So instead of using that, we can directly call the duckling, right? So to do that part, just copy this and paste it in there, right? And I have already pasted it. And also I am going to specify this http:/localhost:8000, which is the API with respect to which my duckling will work, and it will just extract the values for your data, or let's say for the input that the user is going to give, right? So this is what exactly I want to do. So this is what I have done, right? Now after that, it's time to go to the actions, because as I have already told you that I have created a form into the action file with respect to which my story is actually working, right? So it is collecting the data from here, right? And along with that, I have already specified that what are the slots that it should ask one by one. So firstly, it is going to call for the first name, then last name. Now I want to specify two more slots, and those slots will be the time and number, right? Time will be the date which I want to ask, number will be the number of, or let's say the amount of your money which you want to specify in here, right? So this is how exactly I want to write. So for that, let's just give two names over here. One is time and the other one will be the number. So this is what exactly I'm going to do. Now time and number, we are going to call this, and as you know, when you are going to use the slots, whatever name you are specifying in here, there is an order for it to specify inside the domain file, if in case you want to get a response from it, right? Like you can see, it's utter_ask_, and after that whatever is the slot name, you have to mention that part, right? So this is how exactly we have to do. But before doing that part, just write the name for the entity as well as the slot. Just type them, right? So in here also just specify that. Okay, so I have specified the entity and I have also specified the slots, and also it's time to specify these values as well, which is utter underscore ask underscore time colon, and just write a text for it, and that text will be like now I am asking about the time. That means when did you join the training session. So in short, I'm asking about the date when the training has been started and the student has joined it, right? So this is what exactly I have to do. Similarly, do it for the amount as well. Okay, so I have done this part, utter ask time. Now these are the responses, and also I have to add this over here, right? And then the second one as well. Copy them and paste it here, right? So this is what exactly I have done. Now you can see I have specified the responses, and also I have mentioned the names in the action file, and I have created the entity as well as slots. I have mentioned everything, right? Now it's time to go into the action file, because right now I have just set the order of the calling of the questions, right? So this is what exactly I have asked, and after that it's time to set the values in the slot mapping. So for that, just mention them. So the first one is for the time, so just specify the time, and you know the time entity and the slot both should be same, so that is the reason I am putting the same name in both the cases, right? So just put the number in here, number. You need to write it here because we don't have it in the intent, so I can remove them, right? So this is how exactly I'm doing it. And also, yeah, also you have to mention it over here, just because this is the message that it will show you as per this utter underscore submit, which is the response in here, right? So for that, let me just mention the names in here as well, right? So for that, let's say it's date. So the date is whatever will be the value, let's say it is date, right? Similarly /n, okay, /n, and just write the fee over here, right? So I want to specify like it's in rupees, so it's like amount, right? So this is what I have specified. Now it's time to pass the values for date and amount with respect to this submit, right? So that is what I'm going to do. So in here it will be like date, and in here it's time, and in here it's amount, and it's number, right? So these are the slot names, these are the values which I am going to pass to the domain, which is a response utter underscore submit. So this is where I am going to pass it, right? So this is how it will be called. Now after that, when it is done, it's time to check that whether everything is working or not, right? I guess everything is done. The only thing is left, and that is the connectivity to the database, right? Because in here at the end, when I will say yes, it will store my data into the database, right? So for that, this is the data update where I'm just passing the values, and I'm passing 3 values in here, just because before I was having first name, last name and the feedback, but right now I'm having 5 values, so I have to pass 5 values for this. So it's first name, last name and feedback. But before, let's go to this function actually, so that I can modify it, right? So now it's time to pass 2 more. One is date and one is fee, and also in here what I have to do, I have to first create a table as per that, just because right now I don't have any table with respect to this name, which is this one which I have mentioned over here, right? And also this table is only containing the three values, let's say three columns, right? So for that I have already written two queries for this, right? So the first query is this, so I have to specify this to create that one, right? So firstly let's create it, just paste it there, right? So that means first I have to create a table, then I will be able to insert some value into it, right? So this is what exactly I'm doing, and I have already mentioned the column names. It's first name, last name, whatever is the date, and whatever is the fee for that, right? So this is what exactly I have to do, and also the last one is feedback, right? So this is what exactly I'm doing, and after that you know how the database is working. And if you don't know like how you can connect your Rasa chatbot to the database, then don't worry, I have already made one video on this as well. So you can check that, and it will really help you to connect your database to the Rasa chatbot, right? So this is how exactly you can do it, right? Now let's move ahead and just remove these things because this is not of any use to me, and uncomment this part. And right now I have to comment this part, right? For now just comment this, just because right now what I'm doing is I'm just creating a table, and for creating a table you don't need to pass any values. And in fact right now I'm not creating in such a way that I have to pass the value, just because I want these values to be fixed, and these will be the column names. So this is what I'm doing right now, right? So that means I only have to call it, and it will just execute this part. So now just run this, and it will just create a table for you into the database, which is Rasa_feedback, right? So this is what exactly you have done right now. Now we can also check that part, and to check that you know how to do it, right? Because we have already done this. So let's go to this database. So just go to this database, right? And also show tables. Okay, so you can see inside this it has created one table which is feedback_Rasa_date. So this is one table which I have just created using this query, right, which I have passed over here. Now if I will check for anything inside this, you will see there will be nothing. See, there is nothing inside this. Now what we have to do, we have to collect the data from the user, and we have to just store that value into this database, right? So that is how I want to do right now, right? So the task of this query is done. Now it's time to uncomment this again and just pass the values for them. And for this also what I have to do, I have to write a query, because right now there are only three values as per this first name, last name and feedback. But now I have to pass the next one, and next one is this. So you can just copy and paste it, because I have already created this for you, right? And the last, okay, it's fee actually, right? So here you will see I'm just passing the values in here, but right now I'm not going to pass the values by this query, right? Instead I am going to call it from this actions, right? So in here it will just call this query, and accordingly it will just pass the values, right? Now I have to pass the 5 values. First one is first name, last name, and then the next one is let me just pass it. So there will be 2 values. So the first one is time, just because firstly I am passing the date, and after that there will be the number, just because the second one is the fee, right? So this is what exactly I am going to do, and in this way you will see, you will be able to collect the data, and you will be able to further store the data into the database, right? So that is totally about that part. And one more thing, and the very important thing is left, and that very important thing is that we have to start the Duckling server, right? Because without starting that Duckling server, you won't be able to further do anything for that, right? You will not be able to extract the entities from the text that the user is going to input, right? So for that, I have to start the server for the Duckling, and for that I am having this query which will use the Docker for calling this Duckling server, right? So that server will be started on 8000 port, which I have mentioned in the configuration file. You can see in here, right? So this is what exactly I'm doing. Now just run it, and for the very first time when you are going to run it, you will see it will consume lot more time, just because it is going to download so many packages for you and it will be set up on your system, right? So that is the reason it will take some time, right? So now in my case it's not taking time, just because I have already installed it before, right? But for the first time it may take more time for your case, right? So be patient, right? So that is all about this. Now just stop it, right? Now it's time to train the model again, right? Just train the model, and after training the model we will run it again, right? Okay, so the model is trained, and the next thing is we have to call the Rasa X UI, because I want to show you everything on there, right? Because I can show you here as well, but it's better that we will work on there, because right now we are going to work with Rasa X, and that is the latest thing and the latest feature of your Rasa, right? Just make sure your Rasa X is running along with the action server as well as the Duckling server, right? So both should be active, then only you will be able to talk to the bot, and you will be able to further extract the entities with respect to the Duckling server, right? So now let's check it. Okay, so I want to fill feedback form. Okay, so please provide your first name. So let's say my name is Ashish. So you can see it has extracted the values. Similarly, provide your last name. So my last name is Saini. Okay, so when did you join the training session, right? So I joined the training section, let's say on 15th May 2020. So that is what I'm passing, right? So here you can see it has shown you the time, and that time has been extracted into the entity, and the entity name is time, right? So this is how you can just extract the data, and it will just store it into the slots whichever you have specified, and it will save it into the slot, just because we have mentioned the slot as well. Here you can see that, right? So this is how we can store the data. Now how much amount did you pay for that? Let's say I paid 1500, right? So you can see the value is number column 1500. That means the value for your slot is 1500, right? So this is the way how you can display everything, right? And you can collect the data from the user with respect to the Duckling, right? Now let's say it was an amazing session. Right? So you can see these are the values that you provided. Say yes or no to confirm. First name is Ashish, last name is Saini. Feedback, it was an amazing training session, and after that date it will provide you the date completely in the timestamp format, right? So this is the way and this is the reason why you're getting it completely, right? And also the fee is 1500, right? So this is the way how we can collect the data, and that data can be extracted in the form of an entities with respect to the Duckling. And I hope you have understood everything very clearly, right? Now it's time to just save it, or let's say I want to say yes, then it will save the data into the database, right? So you can see everything is done. When I said yes, it is treating it as affirm, and it is saying thank you for your valuable feedback. And I hope everything is done completely and successfully, so we can test that part and we can check it into the database, right? So this is the one, this is the table which I have created. Now it's time to run it. See, whatever values I have specified, Ashish Saini, and whatever is the date, you were able to extract, and you were able to store everything into the table, into the database which you are having with you, right? So this is the way how you can extract the values by using this Duckling, and you can further use it in whatever way you want to use it, right? Now I think everything is clear to you, but still if you are facing any kind of a difficulties in any of the topic, then you can definitely leave a comment below in the comment section, and I will try to resolve your issues as soon as possible. And also, if you have liked this video, then do click on the like button, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, then do click on the subscribe button so that you do not miss any kind of a videos from my side. And also you can click on the bell icon so that you will not miss any updates from our side. Till then, bye bye and happy learning.